my goodness, let's deal with Blitz and his heartbreak. I think there's some lessons to be learned on Blitz and heartbreak and how he deals with it and how we can help cope and cope better. So everyone put on your psychology hats and let's take a look at Blitz and his loss of Stolas.
Oh, okay. I am getting a real sexy energy from this room. Oh, there is definitely a spirit here.
Yeah, get that spooky ghoul.
Blitz,
Go away!
I'm coming in.
Read the chains!
Blitz, what are you doing?
There's an interesting psychology to certain personality types are upset and hurt, why they kind of want to go into the cave. This is more towards an avoidant personality, but it can come for those that are anxiously attached also. And also for caretakers. What happens is when you are at a real low, it's just so very exhausting. For those that are avoidant, for those that are anxiously attached and don't want to hurt others, those of us that are caretakers, handling other people is exhausting. It is actually more of a cost because often you feel like you have to pretend to be okay or engage with others or talk to them. And it's just too much of an emotional overload. So you want to kind of be inside of the cave, keep everyone else away so that you can keep resources and not have to pretend that things are okay when they're not.
You've been in here watching this earth trash forever.
I'm coping!
Yeah, well, you've coped away every dollar we had.
Those plates are collectibles, Millie. I'm gonna sell them next year for 3 times as much, and then I'll have something to show for it when the things I care about vanish.
And why is this a common coping mechanism? You see him with the ice cream, with the whipped cream. It's because when dealing with a breakup or heartbreak, your dopamine levels are so low, and that's actually painful. It hurts. And so you want to do anything that gives you that high, and sugar can give you that high. Also, watching things, having a distraction so that your mind isn't constantly thinking about that can actually work. And for the short term, these things are fine to be able to do. Don't feel guilty or bad about losing yourself in cookies or ice cream or candy of some sort. But you want to know that there is a certain period and then you have to be able to pick yourself up and do other things. Things that might be more active to bring you back to your center. Because if you just stay inside of the cave in the darkness and don't engage, what can happen is that you can end up having something that was a situational depression that can become a deep depression. Because if your body is on shutdown for long enough, it decides maybe I should just stay here. And that can become damaging your system and the world around you, because at that moment you usually don't really care that much about your job and everything else. Those things don't matter because you're in so much pain.
You know, my mama always said the best way to deal with being sad is the sweat and blood of hard work. Washes the tears right off.
I don't need any of your folksy-dokesy country wisdom, Millie. I need to watch the ghost get down by a disembodied spirit and eat my feelings till I die from a heart attack or diabetes, whichever pops my heart open first.
Millie's advice is actually quite good. Working out, getting moving, that's the opposite of a depression. A depression is almost like a human's way of hibernation, which means that we don't want to do things. But staying active, that can create dopamine, create movement, circulation, and when we're moving and feeling and seeing other things, we're also giving ourselves a natural distraction, which can actually work really well. But it's also usually the last thing that you want to do. So that makes it really difficult.
To take from those around you and leave them worse and more broken than you found them. You think you can change? You'll never stop people's lives up. When was the last time you actually loved someone without hurting them?
That is something that often happens, especially when we're at our lowest. That's when all of the things, the fears that we have about ourselves and possibly the truths that we have about ourselves come back and haunt us. Sometimes when we're sad, there are some really important tidbits of information that come up. Sometimes it's not true. They're lies or things that we worry might be true. But it is really important to grab them when we can see them, because when we're on a real high or very happy, they disappear. They're still there in the background, but we can't hear them as loudly. So during these periods of time, it's when it's so vastly important to journal, write them down so you can track it so that you'll grab them next time they happen. We want to take a look at the voices, the things, the fears, the triggers we have about ourselves, because that will greatly affect the way that we interact with the world, the choices that we make, the jobs that we take, the people that we date. And being able to listen to that so we can heal them and make it better will help us make better choices, better decisions for ourselves in the future.
Mom! Mama, I was having the worst dream.
This isn't a dream. This is your life.
I love the moment that Blitz embraces his mom and that sweet touch that she has with both of her hands on his face and wiping away the tears. You can tell that they had this beautiful, genuine, caring relationship, and that inside of him, this is still his point of soothing and also his greatest hurt.
And it always will be.
No, Mom, I'm sorry! Mom, please, I'm sorry!
And that piece that even as she was burning up, she still looked at him so very lovingly. Such a sweet moment in that, and I think that Blitz doesn't often show that soft side of himself. He's done so much to be able to hide from it, and what we want to be able to do is not hide from the parts of us that are soft, but embrace them as well.
Blitz? Blitz! Are you okay? What happened?
No, don't touch me! I destroy everything, everyone. I make everyone's lives worse.
Not mine. Blitz. Remember how we met?
What?
And that's the problem. When we've gotten hurt or we've hurt others, sometimes we believe that we're so damaged that we're irreparable or that that's going to happen each time. Now, you do want to be able to look at yourself in a really honest way and realize the reasons that you did it. Often the hurts or the wounds that have created this inside of you. Perhaps you push people away. Perhaps you say things that you shouldn't. Perhaps you're constantly testing people that are around you. But Millie had a wonderful idea to be able to help Blitz, and that is to show him that this is not always true. When you have that black and white thinking of evil or good or something is always, often that isn't true. And to have a concrete example when you showed a different trait, when Blitz was able to see the wonderful things with Millie and be able to make her feel better, that proof starts to break down those negative self-talk, because we know that it's a lie because we have proof through an actual example. And that's why concrete examples are a wonderful way to defeat negative self-talk when it's lies.
I work for myself, lady. Nice one!
Who sent you? Who are you working for?
What? You don't believe me?
Imps don't work for themselves.
This one does, and he's very interested in having you join his team.
And also to be able to let someone see the traits that they have, the tools that they have in play to be able to help them get over this. Often when we are dealing with feeling really depressed, especially after a breakup, we lose a sense of who we are as a person. And to remember who we are with examples, to be able to bring ourselves back, to put our feet back on the ground, this is a wonderful example of that. That even though for other imps, they don't work for themselves, but Blitz is different. He has this strength, this resiliency to pick himself back up, to be strong, to fight, to do things better. And to be reminded of that is so empowering. And so to be able to do that, which could be through stories, through memories, or meditation, whichever way works for you, to remind yourself of who you are and that you're going to be able to get out of this. Or other examples of when you've dealt with other pain and been able to get yourself out of that. Sometimes you're so deep inside of the pit that you can forget that there's a light at the end of the tunnel and that you're strong enough to be able to climb your way out. And these are the tools that you can use to be able to help yourself.
I bought into the idea that all I could ever be was a simple farm girl, or best an underpaid goon, until I met some knucklehead who never gave a about what anyone else said he could or couldn't be. He made me believe he could be anything, and that made me feel like I could be anything too. He gave me so much a career, a husband, a future.
And that being able to be an inspiration to others, to remember those leadership traits that he has, I think that really made a click in Blitz of what do I want and who am I? And am I gonna let this break me down, or am I gonna rise above it and keep on fighting? And when it's one of your core traits of your personality, it makes it so much easier to be able to grasp onto it. But unfortunately, sometimes we can lose sight of ourselves in the mess that we're in. And so having Millie be there also to be able to tell it, and you know that when Millie says something, she believes it, makes a whole world of difference. So I think that Millie also is that wonderful friend to be able to have when you're feeling that you're down, because they let you be down for a period of time, but then they might kick you in the butt to help you get up. But you don't want to be intrusive. There's times when you should, and there's times when you shouldn't. But in this case, I think Millie did it at the perfect time.
And now, he's my best friend.
You don't hate me?
Nah, never. Look, what I said earlier, you've just always been so unbothered by everything. Almost bulletproof, and I guess I never realized how much I depended on that. I didn't know how to react to you being reduced to Bethany. But I should have respected you like you always do for me. I'm sorry.
That is also something that's really true. When you see someone and they're always strong and in this power position, or they have always shown this bravado, when they let down their guard or they show that, often people don't understand how to deal with it because they're used to them always having the answer, always being able to give a solution. And they're not used to being the person that may need to support someone else. And I think that for Blitz, he's often showing so much of being tough and always having the answers that it sometimes does a disservice, because then when they need help, people don't really take it seriously because they're like, you never need help. Everyone does. And that's not a sign of weakness. All of us sometimes need some advice, some help, some support to be able to figure out and see the light at the end of the tunnel. And there's nothing wrong with that. It is not a weakness to need to do better. That's a strength. And I think that that's one of those lies that our society tells us, and we need to switch that around. Our mental health matters, and if you don't know how to fix it, go to someone that does, in whichever way that you feel comfortable. Do you see how they're clasping hands? I don't see Blitz doing anything like that. It's just such a warm, loving, comforting, friendly thing that they do, and how they kind of come together. That ability for Blitz to be able to attach to someone and feel safe to them, I think that that's so wonderful of a show of the true friendship that they both have with each other.
Welcome to the show.
I hear this one's a real titillator.
Bit of the opposite of the way that we do therapy. In this case, Blitz is being forced to go through all of the past traumas that he's had to live with, and it's not by his choice. When you go to therapy, you take a look at the pieces of your past, so it's similar to this, but you do it at the pace that you feel comfortable and with someone that you feel comfortable with. We don't relive the past to relive it and re-traumatize ourselves, but to learn what are the negative effects or the triggers or the hurts that happen to us because of these incidences, and what can we learn, how can we heal, so that they don't end up weighing us down. And so it would be similar to this in that we're going through past moments, but the exact opposite of the effect, and it's by your choice. The pace, the pieces, so that you can learn from them and then not let them go per se, but be able to put them in a place where they no longer hurt you or affect the relationships and experiences and work and things that you're doing today. So that in the end, the past doesn't come back to haunt you.
Does he have some nasty to say about you? No! Stop! Your level of insecurity is intoxicating. I can't
wait to see how you taste when you drive away the one person left who puts up with your...
It's about him worrying about losing and hurting this one person that has been true to him, and he's just found out how much he means to her. And so I think that for Blitz, it hurts him to think that he's going to be inadvertently hurting Millie, not that he's feeling insecure about it.
He thinks you're a brute. You never should have left the farm. You're nothing but a backwoods, filthy, inbred, low-born. Nobody cares about you or what you want. They're too caught up in their own misery to even remember you exist.
1, your words don't mean to me. And 2, Blitz can handle this.
I love Millie. I love that. I love one is the reason that these words didn't hurt her is that words can only hurt you if you believe that they're true. And Millie's done so much work on herself that she knows that none of that is true anymore. And she also knows that that's not what Blitz feels about her either. And that's why they had no power. So even though you might be hurt by someone trying to hurt you, it's not going to stick if you don't allow it to, if it's not already part of your negative self-talk. And that's why it's so important to work on your negative self-talk. That makes you not a fake invulnerable where you have to pretend to be tough, but actually an internal toughness. So when someone says something to you, it doesn't actually bother you. It just washes over you. And the second part is I love how much Millie believes in Blitz. Her words of saying that Blitz can handle this, that's so powerful. That's the thing that we always want to hear someone say when we are down and out. You can do this. I believe in you. And sometimes that's all we need to hear to help us believe or remember that we're supposed to believe in ourselves. The little tiny detail that she totally knew that he was about to cast a spell with his little finger. Like, Millie is always paying attention to all of the different variables.
So I'm your best friend, huh?
What do you think?
I think I've never had a real friend that I didn't want to.
That mean you're not gonna try to be our third anymore?
No. Not anymore.
And that's such a growth for Blitz, to be able to have relationships that are not based on sex, which he had believed was his best trait, the thing that people would want him for. And Millie allows him to believe, and Millie helps him believe, understand that he's more than that. He brings more to the table than just being a sexual object. She cares about him for who he is on the inside. And I think that that's invaluable.
The bird got to you that bad, huh?
I guess.
So, you gonna keep stalking us all the time?
Well, you know, your husband is still a little...
Yeah, he is. I hope he's doing okay.
And that feeling that he's still hurt, he's not fixed. It still bothers him, but he has more tools and he feels like he has a better support system, which can also be really helpful. If you don't have that support system, then you would want to reach out. You could reach out to a helpline, or you could start a hobby, or you could do things that are creative or active or meditate. Learn to be a better friend to yourself. You really want to listen to the things that you need and the pain that you feel and why you feel it, so that you can be able to pick up all of the pieces and build something that is stronger and healthier afterwards. There are more ways to make yourself feel better than to lose yourself in a pint of ice cream, though I fully understand that. And you can do that by expanding your mind and yourself with today's sponsor, Brilliant.org. Learn, enhance, grow with Brilliant's ever-expanding set of new courses. And Brilliant makes college-level courses available to help you become as smart as you can. Brilliant makes learning like a game with fun features that let you challenge yourself, compete with others, so it never gets boring. Because we know that when learning is fun and engaging, the knowledge just sticks better, so you remember more easily and quickly. And Brilliant has thousands of lessons from math, chemistry, physics, engineering, computer science, and many more, with new lessons being added monthly. So far I've done their courses on algebra, logic, geometry, and I found them all really engaging. And it was interactive, which for me is so much more fun because I'm that visual hands-on learner. And also, you can do it at the pace that you want to learn. So there's no pressure. You can always go forwards, go back, or even cut down the course into smaller chunks. And when I practice a skill, I just do it for 15 minutes a day. That is it. So no one can tell me you don't have 15 minutes to better yourself and your mind. They also have new courses such as how large language models work and Intro to Probability. And if you are still not sure, just try out Brilliant for free for 30 days. I said it, free. And yes, that still helps my channel. So do it. Visit brilliant.org/Georgia Dow. Yeah, click my link. If you want more after that, which I'm sure you will, you can also get 20% off of an annual premium subscription by clicking on my link. Just click on the button on the screen or head on over to brilliant.org/Georgia Dow. Clicking on that button really does help out my channel, so thank you to you and thank you to Brilliant, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. So these are some of my thoughts on Blitz and how he's dealing with his heartbreak. You can let me know your thoughts and his relationship with Millie in the comments below. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video.